what made you want to join?
So I started watching Black Hawk Down. I was like, I'm going to go beat infantry. They wear knee pads. It's badass, So
Welcome to another episode of the After Action Podcast.
Basic training, it's probably the easiest time in the Army. Got out and I thought it was fucking awesome. I walked around Atlanta with a basic training shirt and like, dude, I'm going to pull so many bitches with that basic training shirt. Yeah, I was deployed the first time in 2005 to Ramadi, Iraq. I was told that like when we were there, like 70% of all kinetic events in the entire country of Iraq happened in Ramadi.
Holy shit.
The 22nd of April, we found out that his name was Ghulam Rasul. I'll never forget Steve's name. He was our number one target. We moved into the village and it was super bright outside. It was super bright. And then I started hearing a shit ton of gunfire. And then a red star cluster popped off and that was our signal for like, we got casualties. Like the second I heard a lull in gunfire, I button hooked around this, like it was a tall wall, this small building, giant windows, and there was a little short wall. And I just saw the insides of there like lighting up, flashing, and I was just like,
muzzle
holy
flash.
shit.
Yeah. This episode was sponsored by Medical. Every veteran deserves respect, competency, and clarity when pursuing a disability claim. Of course, we all know the frustration is much more common. If you're looking for a better path and documentation that strengthens your disability rating request, start with our sponsor, Medical. Re's team of professionals work with a network of experienced physicians, and they've already provided meaningful medical evidence for more than 25,000 veterans. And while they can't guarantee what the VA will decide, 95%, let me say that again, 95% of their clients reported receiving a disability rating of 70% or higher. That's because when you connect with Medical, they take the time to explain your options before you pay for anything. Free consultations. So don't give up on a stalled process or settle for an unfavorable decision from the VA. Cut through the frustration with accurate medical evidence and a streamlined approach that allows you to pursue your claim confidently. Head over to remedical.com, that's Romeo Echo Echo medical.com to book your free consultation. Check out our link in the podcast section for more details. Welcome to another episode of your favorite veteran military bro podcast, the After Action Podcast. I'm joined today by the amazing, the incredible, my favorite French baker, that's what I call him, the Green Berets, Al Chapo.
What's up?
Brother, thank you so much for joining us here. I have met a lot of Green Berets, don't like them, just kidding. But you are one of the ones that comes most highly respected, well-known. Your street cred's off the charts. People even heard that we were recording because I think you guys have like a secret internet. Oh, you probably do. GreenBeretInternet.com. Look it up. But
it's Pornhub.
Is that what it is? Yeah. It's just you guys like communicating in comments. That's who's commenting on Pornhub is Green Berets. Being like,
and now we know where the porn comments and everything comes from.
Can we talk about that for a second? Just for a second. What type of animal sets up an account on any type of adult content website? That's like phase one of, brother, go talk to someone. Go touch grass. Go touch grass. Phase two is, I think I'm going to leave a comment. Phase three is like, I don't know. I'm not into it. Like, what world do we live in? It's the craziest thing that I think a person can do.
Maybe you should start.
Maybe I should start? I'll do it.
I told him last week when we had this conversation, we had our guest that you guys will be listening to, well, not today because this is pre-recorded, but Michael Eckert.
Yeah.
It'll be the episode for Michael Eckert. All I told him was, the only thing your social media algorithm is doing is uncovering what you do in the dark when you're not around your family.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's all lies. Oh, yeah. That's all. He's trying to hurt me. It's all lies. No, all I do is like if I see something adult on any platform, I literally just restrict it because like I miss the days when the internet had lanes like this is here, this is here, this is here. Now it all blurs together, and you'll be like reading like a Twitter thread on something, then all of a sudden it's just like slamming you with like ads. You're like, dude, I don't want to see that. I want to go back to learn about Abraham Lincoln or something. It's just weird.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, like it's just kind of too pervasive, and I kind of hate it. But what I don't hate is spending time with you, a real soldier. Hey, happy birthday, soldier.
Oh yeah, it was the Army's birthday.
It was. Happy birthday, Blas. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, you're welcome for my service.
We don't really care as much as you guys do.
No, we really don't.
Y'all don't at all?
No, not at all.
No esprit de army. We call it esprit de corps in the Marine Corps, which is better.
Yeah.
You guys really don't have that.
No.
Why do you think that is? Go.
I don't know. I guess because our birthday is really fucking Independence Day.
That's really true. Yeah. And
Man.
we've done so much that there's way too much to be proud and happy of. So
Yeah, we just
I
gotta
think-
try to stay humble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. You guys are so humble. I think it's with the motto like Army of One, such a humble group of people. You know, I don't think anybody but the Marine Corps really gets down on the birthday.
No, it's too big. Who cares?
The Army is too big. It's gnarly how big it is. Like, especially by comparison to my time in the Marines. Like we're really making it work, improvising, adapting, overcoming, winning. But like when you see like just the scale of like Campbell, I'm like,
Yeah.
brother, you could fit 2 Legion's here. This is insane. And then I don't think I've even seen most of the base.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, especially the back 40. It's fucking
Yeah.
enormous.
Me and Bartell once went to, what is the lake that y'all jump into all the time? You know what I'm talking
Like
about?
Barkley.
Is it
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Where
Mhm.
people do?
Yep.
There were some dudes out there in boats doing swims and stuff.
Yeah. It's like Barkley. They usually jump into.
Well, we missed an entrance and we weren't able to do it. So we had to drive along the back side of it just to get there. And we were able to cut through the base to the other side. It literally took an hour to get
Yeah.
around the back side of the base. I had no idea. But it was cool. The PAO at the time invited us out and be like, hey, you guys want to do this? And we got there, but the chalks were full. So we weren't able to jump into the lake and jump into, what are they called? The boats?
The Zodiacs?
Yeah. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You run those?
No.
No?
I suck at swimming.
Really?
wait, you didn't do Spies and Fries out there?
I mean, I don't. Some teams do every once in a while, and they still do that shit like at air assault school, I think.
Yeah.
Air assault, isn't that what you have to say? You got to say air
Yeah,
assault.
it's fucking air assault.
You passed a course.
Oh yeah, way back in that was like the first course I went to in the Army. It was like 2004, and I passed it and got my ass kicked by my entire platoon.
Really?
Yeah, and I was such a douche, man. I like called my recruiter, and he's like, "Cool, dude. Nobody gives a fuck."
Dude, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
We're done. I'll never see you again. Yeah.
Who the fuck is this? Leave me alone, kid.
Oh, yeah. Sorry for your click. So what made you want to join and when did you join?
So I wanted to join. Oh shit, I wanted to be in the military my entire fucking life, man.
What was the moment you were like, that's it?
Initially, I wanted to go to the Navy and be a pilot after watching Top Gun. That was literally the fucking best movie ever. And,
It really is.
It really is.
It really is.
Wait,
And then-
1 or 2?
One.
The first one. The second
first-
one's still pretty good though.
The second one's good, but people were like, oh, what's that? Dude, shut up. I think the best part is that Maverick's still not promotable. Like, because honestly, if you like stay at 04 for 20 years, you're a shit officer.
Yeah, dude.
Like, doesn't really go into that. Like, he probably caught a case here or there, but
Yeah.
like, you know, got in the jet a little saucy. You know what I mean? But yeah, Top Gun, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then as I like went through life, and I was like, oh, I have to go to college, and well, fuck. And I'm half retarded, so I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna work out. So I started watching Black Hawk Down. Was the actual movie. I'm like, dude, the fucking Army's awesome. You know, I'm gonna go be an infantry. They wear knee pads. It's badass. You know, so. And
I love that you're like, all right, Top Gun, cool, planes. All right, next Black Hawk Down. Then we're knee pads. All right, like, you're just making these decisions. You're really thinking this stuff through.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so, yeah, it was Black Hawk Down. I wanted to do that. I wanted to be infantry. I wanted to fight. And that's all I really wanted to
Yeah.
do, you know.
And where are you from originally?
Originally New Mexico, grew up in like a small town called Gallup. It's right on the western border next to Arizona on the Navajo Reservation.
Okay.
So grew up there, played baseball my entire life. You know, baseball was pretty much my priority growing up, really, until I ended up going in the Army.
What position?
I caught most of my life, and then I hurt my ankle my senior year in high school, and then I played third base and I pitched a little bit.
What's your best pitch?
My best pitch,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I was pretty good at throwing junk. So like I was a closer, and they always had me throwing junk. I have a pretty good curveball, or at least I used to. I probably can't even reach the plate right now.
How fast did you throw?
I threw low 80s. I wasn't that.
So crazy that you're like, that sucks. But like, you could, if you hit somebody with that, it would cave their chest in.
Dude, my sophomore year, or was it my junior year? And I was batting, and I thought this dude was going to throw me a curve, and he fucking nailed me in the face with a fastball. I got knocked out cold. It was so fucking embarrassing.
You're just like there trying not to be concussed. I'm fine.
Oh, no. I was knocked out cold and my arms locked up. And the coach's dad was our photographer. So he just took like 15 pictures of me just knocked out on the fucking ground. So I was just sitting there locked up.
That's what he did when you were obviously in, not crisis, but you obviously needed some medical attention.
Yeah, I mean, the coaches tried to help me, like pulling the bat from under me. And I was like, dude, I was supposed to go to prom like 2 days later. But I was just like, I had like 30 stitches, knocked out 2 teeth. It was ridiculous.
Dude, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go to the Army because they have knee pads.
Yeah. Because safety first. That's all I really
Safety
cared about.
first.
Nobody outranks general safety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're really carrying the water early. I like that. Also, I feel like it's kind of underrated, Black Hawk Down, as a movie. I don't think it really gets the flowers it deserves. Mainly because it's got a rock star cast.
Dude.
Just off the charts. Total babes.
Dude.
Total babes all around. You got Barnett, Orlando Bloom. He throws the whole mission off. Tom Hardy. What's his name? Eric Bana.
Yeah, Tom
Sizemore. Just like, it's a recruiting ad, obviously, but it's one of, I don't know. I don't feel it kind of lives in the shadow of the GWAT, in my opinion, because like people don't even really understand why we were there in the first place.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to stop like a crazy uprising of people and everything. And then, it's so crazy too to even see those dudes being like, we don't need back sappies. And I'm like, brother, like you can.
So I didn't actually believe that. Like apparently a lot of those like little stores where they bring nods and back plates and stuff, like apparently a lot of that was true. Like,
that's what I've heard.
That shit happened, yeah.
That they literally were like, oh, we'll be fine. I've never been like, take this, 8 pounds? How much? I can handle it. I'm not rolling the dice. Oh, we don't need water? You're crazy. Oh, we don't need ammo? You're crazy. You have no idea what's going to happen out there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's incredible they were able to punch their way through it. I've met a few guys who were there, one guy who lives here, but I can't imagine that, honestly, like a whole city enveloping on you.
It's like a dream, dude.
It is kind of like a dream / nightmare, but again, I would be there with all my sappies, and it's crazy, but But I understand why you're like, time to go punch people.
Yeah.
And so you enlist in what year?
2004.
2004.
Yeah. I have my 20 years here in a few days, actually.
Oh, no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Say it with your chest, bro. Yeah. 20 years. How does that feel? Are you going to drop packet or what? You don't have to announce it here. Breaking news?
No. I'll probably be getting out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you either have to commit to like, once you get to 20, I don't know, it used to be this way. In the Marine Corps, they're like, you can either get out at 20 or you got to stay at least like 2 more enlistments or something.
No, now I could really drop my packet anytime.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
A whole career.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. I made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of dumb shit, but like I wouldn't change anything just because like how everything ended up going out. Like it's pretty fucking awesome. It
is pretty cool.
I wish I could have gotten into more fights, had, done better shit, but like it's still pretty fucking cool.
I don't know, you've done a lot, and we're going to talk about it, but you've done a lot.
Yeah.
You've done a little bit. So you enlist, you go infantry, go through boot camp, all that jazz. What was it like?
Yeah,
back
basic
then?
training. It's probably the easiest time in the Army. It was amazing.
Amen.
Yeah. Got out and I thought I was fucking awesome. Like walked around, graduated basic training, walked around Atlanta with my basic training shirt. Like, dude, I'm gonna pull so many bitches with this basic training shirt.
It's funny. You were honest. I'll be honest with you. When I got out of basic training, I think I had 10 days of boot leave, and my wife will testify to this. I didn't take off my 3rd Recruit Training Battalion top for nothing. I looked like corrugated steel in that thing. I had also picked up 30 pounds of muscle mass over the course of a month because I was a double rat. So that was pretty cool.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's first went to the 101st, to the old 1506, the old Band of Brothers, brigade. They restarted. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I showed up in our office. There was like 10 people in our entire company because they were like piecemealing from the entire division.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Deployed the first time in 2005 to Ramadi, Iraq. I stayed over in East Ramadi. We had a fucking blast.
Had a blast,
dude.
Huh?
It was.
What was it like then? That was when it was popping over there.
It was pretty awesome. I don't know if the stat is 100% correct, but I was told that like when we were there, like 70% of all kinetic events in the entire country of Iraq happened in Ramadi.
Holy shit.
And it was pretty much like anytime you go out within 45 minutes, you're getting shot at.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, and then
now we're talking.
Yeah, it was. We stayed on the East Ramadi, and we were actually there at the same time as like Jocko talks about it all the time. We were there at the same time. We were at the same place. Well, he was at Camp Ramadi on the other side of town.
Yeah.
But they had SEALs on our side of town. And like Michael Mansour stayed in our in our cop and shit like that. He died like 3 blocks from me ish. He jumped on a grenade, but like it was a fucking awesome deployment. I mean, it was at the time I was always going through them like, dude, this sucks. We're not doing enough. We're not fighting enough. And like as you look back, you're like, oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, my seniors were there. They were, I don't know when exactly they were there because I joined in 2007. So it was 2006. They were in Ramadi, Iraq, and the way they talked about it, I was just like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, my team leader at the time, he actually got awarded because his squad leader went down, ended up getting amputated, and he like ran out there under fire. I mean, not ran out there, had caught some shrapnel and stuff, and was a saw gunner, but still drug his squad leader back, who was like bleeding out and stuff, like in the middle of a road. It was just gnarly.
Yeah.
And he's just putting down, you know, just like opening up a saw just to try and get to cover, and was ended up able to save him. But it was just like, oh, dude, that's my team leader. That's the guy's going to teach me. That's insane.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you want. You want someone who's been about it, but like, it's just so crazy that even think about it, honestly. Because I remember seeing, so I enlisted in 2007. So I remember seeing stuff about Ramadi and Iraq, like on Live Leak and stuff like that. And see like dudes making videos being like, click, click, boom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Marines did make the best videos, like the best kill videos out of there. They had some pretty good ones. Yeah.
Dude, we were on it, dude. Like the Marine Corps was like, we don't need any more ads. We're just going to let Lance Corporals do really bad edits of combat footage.
On what, a Windows Media Player or whatever, a Windows Movie Maker.
Coming down with the stereo. Just dudes like this. You know.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. Marines got after it a bunch. They were on the west side of Ramadi, and like, it kind of cut in half. So they had this place called the Governor Center, and those dudes got fucking hammered nonstop. And we always watched them from a little OP called OP Hotel. And it was a fucking fight, dude. It was awesome. You know, it was.
Well, and that was like the last part of the real kinetic fight in Iraq, right? That 2006 going in like what, into 08 was really
I think so. Yeah, that's kind of like right as it like started
tapering off
into what was a New Dawn, I think. And we killed a shit ton of people. It was a good fight, man. It was awesome.
Is there anything in particular that really stands out from that tour?
Oh man, I mean, I'm sure I got into a huge gunfight on my 20th birthday. That was pretty cool.
That's fucking cool as shit.
It was first time I saw it. It was the first time I saw like PKC fire, PKM fire, and I was just like, it was a different color. I was just like looking at it. I was like, what the fuck is that? My squad leader like ripped me down. Like, we're getting fucking shot at, you idiot.
Was it the tracers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was purple if I remember right. I might be wrong.
Ours are green.
Yeah.
And so it's non-green. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
It is funny. You're like looking at the tracers and be like, it's so pretty.
Yeah. It just didn't register. I was like, I had no idea what it was. And we're getting fucking shot at, you idiot. You know, and it was, overall, it was a pretty fucking awesome deployment. What stuck out? I think one of the funniest, I mean, there's a couple of cool stories that I have from that. Like the first time I ever got shot at was pretty funny. So like it was a couple days into there, and they stuck me on the gun of a 50 on a Humvee, and we're going to clear out this area that people kept using for ID. So they're just like, we're just demolishing it, and so
blow it up.
It wasn't like buildings or nothing. It was just like undergrowth and trees and shit. So we're just like clearing it out, and right before we rolled out, never touched a 50 cal before, like an M2, like the machine gun.
This is a very infantry experience. Continue.
Yeah, never touched it before, never seen one before, and my squad leader was like half-ass taught me how to use it. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. And we didn't have a T&E. It was free gunning, too.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't know. They're like, I didn't even know what a T&E was at the time. Well, actually, I did, with like the 240s and stuff. But
the
like,
beer can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a T&E on it. We're free gunning it, and we're parked, and I was looking down this alleyway, and it was called No Name Road, and it was only a couple days into the deployment, I think. And we're sitting there, and I started hearing something, and to me, it sounded like black cats, like the fireworks black cats.
Yeah.
It was like crack, 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 crack.
Yeah.
And there was one truck that was... So as it was Route Michigan, the big one that run through, and then right after our fob, it kind of split off called No Name Road, and it continued down like the main highway, which is Michigan. But we were down this one called No Name Road, and I was looking down another alleyway, And they started shooting at us, and I didn't know what the fuck it was. I had no idea, you know.
Yeah.
And my squad leader was like, "Ow, they're fucking shooting!" And so I started looking. I saw where they're shooting from.
You see the burst?
I just remember seeing dirt kicking up.
Yeah, the dirt kicking up. Yeah.
And
what is not the silhouette? I can't think of what it's called. Dang it.
Excuse me, sorry. And there was another truck that was a little bit in front of me, like kind of like blocking me, so there's no way I could shoot at it, but there's a fucking alleyway in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I just like, go. And the gun was just flying all over the place.
You. Yeah.
And I just held it down. I don't know. I was like, holy shit.
Basically,
and you see like power lines falling and shit. And
I'm as free as
I went like a whole can on cyclic, and it was just who knows where those fucking rounds went, you know?
Yeah.
And
they stopped shooting?
Yeah.
They went somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and I'd shot down there, and it was funny. There was one of the dudes in the bulldozers recorded it, and he was like, "Oh, this is my first firefight." And you just see the gun flying everywhere and like power lines falling from like 15 feet in the sky.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm fucking retarded, but yeah.
You know, I opened up a 50. It was like once on a post we were getting attacked on my first tour, and I remember we'd worked with machine gunners before, but I'd never fired it full free gun because it was just on top of like a Humvee I think we had parked out there, and I had a very similar experience. Just being like, because like all there is the butterfly trigger and a round that was the safety, and I remember being like, this is pretty cool. Like the safety's around, boop, just like I hit it out. And went,
it's pretty fucking metal.
Just holding on is incredible. Give me much more respect for machine gunners everywhere.
Yeah. They're like, I remember before we rolled out, one of the other like fire team leaders like, yeah, you pull it down and to the right, you know, to lock it in. But he thought it was for, you know, he thought we had T&Es, and I was just like, wow, the fuck?
Yeah. I'm pulling down. Yeah. Dude, that's so sick. It's such a cool gun too. Have you ever seen a dual one before?
Yeah.
They have them on ships and stuff. And I was on a ship for a while. We did the workup, and I just saw them, and I was like, dude, America's so fucking cool.
I know.
Because like when they're walking you through it, like, oh, you can get it where the feed tray's over here, where it feeds this way or it feeds that way, and you're like, wait, what? And they're like, oh yeah, because in case you need two of them together. When you're shooting to them at the same time, I was just like, yes.
Yeah, you just rotate.
You rotate the thing. Yeah, the feed pause. Is that it?
Well, you got the feeder paw on the left, but it's I can't remember the actual like that little cam on top of it.
Yeah. I've barely taken one apart once or twice. And I used to love watching machine gunners do drills. That's actually one of the coolest things is watch them do gun drills.
Yeah.
Because especially there's a clip online I have saved somewhere where it's like a dead gunner drill. People were like, I didn't know they would do it this way. Like, yeah, bro, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Get the gun up. Priority one is get the gun up.
Yeah, I was a saw gunner for the first like 2 years in the Army, and I fucking loved it.
You look like a saw gunner.
I was a saw gunner,
yeah.
And I named it the X-ray machine. So I wrote on the side of it X-ray machine, and the funny story is like I had a friend of mine, and I was talking to her, and she was just like, "What do you do in the Army?" I was just like, "Oh, I'm a fucking I'm an X-ray tech." You know, just bullshitting. And she's like, "What's that gun in your picture?" I was like, "Oh, that's my X-ray machine. It helps me see people's insides." So
drop them digits, girl.
Yeah. And no, we didn't date or nothing. She was just a friend of mine.
No,
and,
I like that. Yeah. I'm gonna use that from now on.
Yeah. And so I wrote it on with a paint marker on the side of my gun. I had it the whole time, and dude, a saw was fucking awesome.
That's the coolest shit. It helps me shows me their insides. Dude. Shit. All I had was like, this is my boomstick. Yeah. Because we had 16s, and
hell yeah.
Everyone else was like, had M4s, and so it looked like a musket by comparison. You know, I was just a boot rifleman. I'd be like, I'm just a boomstick operator, and they're like, what's that? And I was just like, this.
It's my bow staff.
Yeah, it was gnarly. God, let's just cut this. Let's go shoot guns. Come on, man. Okay, fine.
We will August 2nd.
August 2nd. Cut that. Doesn't matter. Nobody knows where we are. Yes, that will happen. But yeah, so you go to that first tour and you come back, and what's next?
Yeah, I got back, and then I think I took over a fire team. I went to Ranger School. I got married, and then
at Ranger School?
Yeah, I married my RI. Yeah, that's the only way I passed.
Brother.
Yeah.
Oh. How is Ranger School? Everyone's it seems like you have to do it.
It's
Sonny Actual's in here. You know who that is the Indian guy who does content. He does like all sorts of hilarious stuff. Goes by Sonny Actual online.
I don't think so.
He's hilarious,
Yeah.
but he was saying like as an infantry officer, it's implied that you have to.
Like if you're an infantry or like soft like officer, it's pretty much you pretty much have to go. It was good. It wasn't the hardest thing in the world at all. It was the way it's a leadership school, so like the way I always described it was like it helps you learn how to get people to do what you need them to do when they're at their worst. So like they're tired and they're fucking hungry, and you got to essentially not really manipulate them to do what you need them to do, but like motivate them and
influence
help
outcomes.
Exactly. Yeah. So like let's get on this fucking assault. Let's get on this ambush line. I know you guys are fucking tired, but it's 100% a leadership school, and that's what it is. That's what it teaches you. You get what you get out of it, what you put into it, kind of things. So if you just go there and just a pass, and it's whatever. But it is.
Does going to Ranger school make you a Ranger?
No, not at all. No.
Thank
a
you.
lot of people say that. A lot of douchebags say that. But the only caveat, obviously, you got to be, to be in a Ranger regiment. You have to go to RASP and stuff.
Yeah.
Be in a Ranger regiment and pass Ranger school to be a Ranger. And the only caveat I would say to that, and that's probably just my opinion, and everybody will probably disagree with me, is if you have finished Best Ranger, you could call yourself a Ranger. That's the only caveat to that.
Boss?
I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
I think if you take that chance and you put yourself against the other best out there, like, and participate in a Best Ranger competition, I mean, and you actually finish it, yeah, I wouldn't argue with somebody if they told me that.
I'm not going to argue. I mean, I'm a Marine, so I'm better than a Ranger. So
if people disagree with it, it's fine. It's just, I'm like, fuck it.
No, it's all the Army jokes I make, I have to run past soldiers. And someone, like when I did one, I was like, going to Ranger school doesn't make you a Ranger. It was like one of the first ones I had that like really popped. And people were like, how dare you? And I was like, dude, I don't even know what this means. Like, it sounds.
If you get offended over a military joke, then you're the fucking problem.
You're probably online. Yeah. You're online too much, my brother in Christ.
Yeah.
Time to log off. Time to just step back. Go back to that photo of him in his dress uniform. You look like you're about to sell war bonds in that photo. I mean, brother.
No, I'm actually just trying to sell feet pics.
Well, that can be arranged as well. There it is. Look at you. All I see is like is that the new dress uniforms?
Yeah.
Those are so fucking
They're so much
sick.
better. They're so much better.
Finally, there's competition for the Marine Corps dress uniform, but that looks like you're about to be like the bugle boy from Company B.
Yeah, they're so much better.
Hi, my name's Al Chapo, and I'm here to sell you some bonds. Did you know that every bond you buy and every metal can you save helps the boys overseas? Come on, let's get involved. Dude, such a babe. And you know what I love? Such a Green Beret haircut there, a.k.a. not a haircut.
That's the shortest my hair's been in a long time. Right there.
You must have had a promotion board that day.
Yeah, no shit, right?
You're like, oh, I guess I'll take a little off the top.
Yeah.
Snap. God.
Yeah, when I was in Syria, my hair was like 18 inches long. I had to like slick it all the way back.
I would kill to see those photos.
Yeah, I'll show 'em.
For the show.
Yeah.
Definitely not for other stuff.
Oh, no.
Just save them in the file. Sorry. But so you're back. You're a team leader. My favorite thing I've ever done was leading troops in combat.
Yeah.
It's the best. Being there with the boys, shooting, moving, communicating. I think it's the highest level of existence, to be honest. There's no greater honor I've had than to lead troops in combat. I believe.
100%. It's literally, dude, there's nothing better. And especially like hard combat, where you see your dudes like grow as human beings, you know, and
the diamonding, like,
exactly.
Heat and pressures applied to coal, and then something beautiful comes out of it.
Yeah. And then this deployment was kind of weird. We were we ended up going to Wardak province in Afghanistan in 2008.
Okay, where's that?
It's like pretty much central Afghanistan, just south of Kabul.
Okay.
And
I was always in RC South.
Like Helmand or whatever. So it's like central Afghanistan, and there's one giant highway that runs through called Highway 1.
Yeah, it's the only road in
100%,
Afghanistan.
Yeah. And
they're like, I remember they call it, you ever heard of Ring Road?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's Ring Road. And I was like, why? And they're like, oh, it's the only road, and it goes in a circle.
Yeah.
I was like, deal.
Very.
In the whole country? Yeah, the whole country. That's all we have.
Yeah. And so we're there, and we had one company to take over, like to essentially try to control, if you could say, like an entire fucking province, one company.
Jesus.
And so what they ended up doing is breaking off out of all like 3 platoons. They kind of like piecemealed another platoon together, and they called us the 4th platoon, and we went all over the place.
Yeah.
And it was when they send people to another unit, they're not going to send their they're fucking superstars.
No, that's why they're in another unit.
100%. So like we took over this platoon, and the platoon sergeant at the time, I ended up being one of the squad leaders. Platoon sergeant at the time, Mike, he was phenomenal dude, phenomenal soldier. I think he's still in. We ended up like, hey, let's call this the short bus platoon. Yeah, so we called ourselves Short Bus. That was our actual call sign.
For real?
And yeah, 100%.
Hey, what was your company call sign?
It was Able.
Able?
Yeah.
Able Short Bus 1 actual.
100%. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, my call sign was Short Bus 4. And
I like it.
But like, and we grew, this little, I think it was like 15, 16 people in this platoon.
How big are platoons? Are they about 30 people?
Yeah, about 30.
So same as the Marines?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know it changes when so companies are probably 3 to 4 platoons.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's when the language changes to regiment, battalion, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Because y'all use division the way we use, I think, regiment.
I think
so. Because then it goes company, battalion, regiment. So
you're right.
Okay, right? Y'all go division? Okay. And division for us is just 1st, 2nd, 3rd Marines.
Yeah.
Which 1st Marines might be the best logo ever. Have you seen it?
Which one is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's like if there's ever one thing where I'm like, if I could have got a Marine Corps tattoo, well, a different one, it'd be that one. Well, I mean, I got 0311, but I mean, like, legit, like, when you see it, I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool. I think it's even shaped around Guadalcanal, exactly. But
that's
like,
badass.
It's cool as shit.
Yeah.
It's legit cool as shit. Plus, San Diego is kind of cool.
San Diego's really cool.
I love it. I get it. The people are like, what do you think? California's whatever, but I go to San Diego, I'm not like, this doesn't make sense to me. The weather's perfect.
The people are cool.
The people are cool. The food is immaculate.
Yeah.
The food is off the charts. The burritos are insane.
Yeah. It's kind of like a tiny little Texas town in California, if you could put it that way. Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I know so many people out there. Tor Knives is out there. Austin Alexander's out there. He's hanging out, doing all this stuff. I mean, it's just a bunch of good people, a bunch of good bros.
Yeah.
It's bro heavy.
Yeah.
It's bro centric.
Yeah.
God. So how long are your tours? Are they still 14 months doing that?
No, we were about to do 15 months on that one, but I think we ended up doing like 13 or 14.
Was your first one like that too? 14?
My first one was 12. Yeah, my first one was 12.
I don't know if I could. I mean, I could do that. I don't like the idea of coming home for R&R.
No, R&R is good. I personally, like, it sucks. Like, at the end of every single deployment I've ever been on, it always felt like I haven't done enough. I need to stay more. I have these fucking things I got to knock out. Like, it just, like, I always felt like I never did enough on deployments. Every single deployment, I always felt like I never did enough.
That's the fucking truth, dude. You're just like, there's so much stuff, like, and it's only towards the end. I don't think it matters how long you're there, like, where you really get a hold of the battle space. And, you've got your dude, you got the mom down there, he's a little sketchy, but if you give him what he wants, he gives you what you want. He keeps keeps the towel about, and everything's cool. Or like, we had a few dudes that were like, they're over there, and all they wanted was like watermelons, and you really get the town like humming, and everything's kind of like chill, and then they're like, okay, we're leaving. Like on our first tour, we had a battalion size element that was stretched far all over a town called Garmser, and then we left, and like a company of British soldiers took over, and it was like nowhere even close. Like we like weren't even. I remember when we were getting on the bus, the 7 tons, you could see a line of Toyota Corollas, just like off in the desert, getting ready to drop off dudes back in town. It was like the Toyota-thon from hell. Like they were like getting ready to come back in there and be like, "Oh, the Americans are gone. We're going to take over again." Yeah, which is. Do you think Toyota knows that they're like?
They have to.
They have to. Do you think they know? Do you think they know? Like they're never like
their number one.
They never have a meeting like, guys, Hilux sales are through the roof.
Yeah, it's funny.
Where are they, Bob?
In Afghanistan, I actually said that because you see, like, these dudes drive fucking Toyota Corollas in the middle of the mountains and stuff. I always said Toyota Corollas is the most off-road capable vehicle on the planet.
That's the damn truth. And I remember, like, looking at a Bolo, you go in, like, your COC, and it's, like, Bolo, and it's, like, Corolla, white, yellow, blue, gray. orange. They come in orange. I didn't know they come in orange. No shit.
Dude.
Literally the entire spectrum of color Corolla, and then same applies to Hilux.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would kill to be in a meeting being like, guys, we're ignoring it, right? We're just not gonna say anything at all ever. No, we can't.
Did you ever see the picture? It was in Syria, and it was a I can't remember what kind of truck it was. It probably was a Toyota, but it was like a Texas Plumbers sign on there. And everyone's just like, oh, you're supporting ISIS, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, fuck, I put that in an auction. Why the hell is my company name still on there?
No, but if pull that shit up. If anybody can find it, Blas can.
Yeah, it was in Syria. It was like a Texas Plumbers company truck that he ended up putting in an auction, I think. And then it ended up in the hands of ISIS. So they show him like shooting anti-aircraft guns out of it. And he was just like, everyone started just like calling his company like, fuck you, you're supporting ISIS. He's like, dude, no, I swear to God.
Syrian Texas Plumbing Company? No fucking way. Well, I'm going to make a video about this. Yeah. Mark 1 Plumbing? Hello?
Yeah.
How dare you piece of shit?
Yeah.
What the hell? He's like talking to his wife, babe, what's going on?
Yeah.
We're getting the weirdest calls. I've been getting death threats all day. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Again, Toyota has to be aware. They're like, yeah dude, like 30% of global inventory is in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like we just gonna ignore it. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Delete the spreadsheet. Delete the spreadsheet. Oh my God, that's incredible. That does remind me of, have you seen the Shane Gillis skit where he's like Bob Isis of Toyota?
Of Isis Toyota, yeah.
I like to, it really is an ISIS flag. It's an ISIS flag. Shout out Mark 1 Plumbing. I hope you're doing well. Oh, look at it. Look at it.
He looks exactly how I thought he would look too.
Yeah. Well, I named it Mark 1 because I'm one guy and my name's Mark, Oh my God. That's the funniest. He's like talking to some lady. Well, man, we're gonna have to. Your septic's backed up, and then just 1 second. Oh, I hope you fucking die. Sorry, ma'am. Little hiccup. My truck got sold to terrorists. Anyways,
dude, how awesome is this?
I don't know. I kind of wish they put After Action Podcast on the side of it.
Oh man,
I can't. Oh my God. Who bought it? Who bought it? Baghdadi? Is that who bought it?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah. Oh God, they're buying them at auction now. They don't have enough of them.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, the Bob Isis skit is just as good.
Yeah, dude, that was good. We're not the bad ones.
We're not the. We're not the bad ones. I like to have fun too, but you see that? That's a load of crap. That's. Oh, my face hurts. I can't even. I bless you. What were we even talking? He's still there.
Just pissed.
I hope sales are through the roof, though. Yeah, blur his number. We don't want his number out there. It is crazy. He has his number on his door that can be easily Googled.
Fuck yeah.
Good for him. What were we saying? I'm completely.
Oh, I don't remember at all. Oh yeah, we're just talking about off-road vehicles in Afghanistan.
Yeah. I mean, they are everywhere.
Yeah.
They are everywhere. That was weird. That was weird to see. And also another thing I think about a lot, the jingle trucks are crazy. Yeah. They're always like rocking, and it terrified me. Every road they would drive on would like slowly evaporate. And then the other thing that always sticks out in my head is, when the Russians left, most people don't know this, but they literally left, and they left everything in place.
Yep.
I mean, we left stuff, at least people like Tyler destroyed most of it. But like I remember hitting a field once, and there was just like a battalion of tanks.
Oh, no shit.
Like 4 or 5 of them that had been stripped down over time, and I was just like, holy shit, like dudes like found a plasma torch or something. We're like, I'm gonna turn.
They probably didn't find a plasma torch.
Yeah, they probably. I don't know what they did to it.
Screwdrivers, guarantee it.
Just like hitting it with a hammer for like a decade until it like finally falls off. I even saw like a sickle and hammer for a guy's door once.
That's badass.
Yeah. I mean, they improvise, adapt, and overcome over there. It's gnarly. Were you over there during the time of Restrepo?
I think that happened. I think that happened right before I got there. I think that happened either early 08 or late 07, if I remember right.
That's such a crazy story. That whole base being at the bottom of a hill, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Like, I don't even know whose idea that was, but
Yeah.
yeah. I know it's not all the same. I'm not trying to be dumb or
Yeah, I got
anything.
a good friend of mine. He runs a machine gun company here in Nashville.
Which one?
DTV Tactical Innovations.
Say it one more time.
DTV Tactical Innovations.
Good
And-
veteran-owned company. Check them out if you want machine guns.
Yeah, and so he builds miniguns, which is badass. And but his company named DTV is from Damn the Valley because he was there in Cornwall. He was there with Restrepo, and I think they showed his picture in the movie and everything too.
I mean, those boys were out there hooking and jabbing.
Yeah.
Looked like they were on the side. Looked like they were in Mordor too, by the way the rocks and everything went. I just didn't know if you were like. I know you're in different province stuff. I'm sure you were tracking it while you were there too.
Well, when I showed up late because I went to radio school right before I went to Afghanistan. So I showed up a little bit late to the deployment, and then they're giving some brief, and they were talking about a Medal of Honor that just got put in from that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really tracking a whole bunch about it. Like I found out, they kind of told us a couple of stories and a couple of lessons learned about it, like the big cops getting overrun and stuff.
It's crazy.
Never, never happened to me, unfortunately.
It never happened to you, unfortunately.
Dude, you know how awesome that would be.
You really are a dog. That's what I respect about you. Put him in. Put
like break in case of war, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand so much more about you now. Now I understand what you're like. Yeah, I'm dropping my retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. So second tour, is that when you're like time to go get my pastry chef hat?
No, not at all.
My beret.
No, that was another good infantry deployment. We got into a shit ton of gunfights, and it was fucking awesome. After that, I went over to the recon platoon, like the battalion reconnaissance platoon.
Okay.
And I took over a recon team. That's where I met this guy.
Yeah. Is that like LARP? Did y'all do that?
LARPing?
Not LARPing. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah, like long range reconnaissance. Yeah.
Long range reconnaissance is
LARP.
LARP. That's it. It's called LARPing. LARPing is what I pretend to do online.
Yeah.
Got it. Because they took those away and they brought them back after Vietnam. Am I messing that up?
It kind of just morphed into different things.
Yeah, but it was like really big in Vietnam. I believe
they've had long range reconnaissance patrol teams for the longest time. They had them in each division, and then it kind of went away, and they went to like the corps level. And I think they kind of started going away in. Well, they also transformed into the Pathfinder companies.
Yeah,
that's
it was
what I'm
like
thinking.
2000 and what would you say, like 2007
I think
to
when they
2009?
it was pretty recent when they done away with a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had 3 recon teams, which is set up just like they were. You got your team leader, your assistant team leader, and then your RTO and your NUGs.
Yeah.
And then you had your sniper section.
That's where your snipers were? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had a battalion sniper section. You had you had 3 sniper teams and then a sniper section leader. But yeah, we were there, and we had a really good fucking trip in 2011 or 2010-11. We went to Paktika province in Afghanistan, and it was
That was y'all's tour together,
that
right?
was yeah.
What'd you think when you first met him? Like, who's
I remember.
He came to pick me up.
Yeah,
you picked him up?
I
He
picked
was
him
a
up
boot
from
drop?
Yeah,
no, he came over from Korea, right?
Yeah, I came.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first duty station was in Korea, and I just remember being told that I was going to HHC, which was our headquarters company.
Okay.
And they lined us up all in the battalion hallway, and I think it was you
And Tyler.
and I want to say Fritz was there as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like you-
Tarasovic, because
Yeah.
you were the 3 team leaders
Yeah.
at the time.
I feel like you walked in with a fat dip and you were like, what are these fucking morons?
No, I don't
You're
dip,
just like,
dude.
you're just like, cigarette, whatever. In my mind, you're like, yeah, what's up? What are these boys doing?
No, we went in there, and I don't remember what. I think
You
we
guys
just
went
talking
down the
shit to people.
line.
Yeah.
And you're like, essentially like, what's your PT score? What's your PT score? What's your PT score?
Yeah.
And then I got singled out because at the time I had my EIB.
Yeah. And we're like, hey, what'd you do? And he was like, I was a sniper in Korea. I was like, all right, sweet. You're with us, dude.
Nice. I like that you're asking them like relevant stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, because it was a boot drop, so it's not the same. But like, I remember all my friends went to Bravo Company in 1-6. I went to Alpha, and I was completely fucking bummed about it.
Yeah.
But they were like, bop, 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 bop. And they'd be like, what'd you do? What'd you do? And I was just like, whatever. And I went over there, but it was a weird draft. It was like a draft of idiots.
Yeah.
Because we were all boots, but this is
Yeah.
completely different. You had like tier 1 dudes.
I mean, yeah, my boy over here is definitely
Yeah, dude.
tier one, bro.
Yeah, Blas never
Yeah.
gets enough love, in my opinion.
Not at all. Not at
Hey,
all.
hashtag pay Blas.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
Hashtag pay Blas. If he installs a swing, pay Blas. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. I don't want to start nothing. I want to start on hashtag pay Blas.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hey, anyways, I got you, dude.
Appreciate that. She'll love that.
Yeah.
She'll love that. He's just like editing it out. I just keep. I'm gonna keep saying it, so it's like
It's
it's
too much.
It's unremovable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were saying hashtag pay Blas. No, so you guys meet up, and then how long were you there before y'all deployed? I'm curious about this.
I don't remember.
It had to have
quick
been-
turnarounds.
It was pretty quick. I want to say like we
3-4
maybe had
months, maybe?
one or two training events, and then we were off. It was
Yeah.
it had to have been like
Then it was
3
about a
months
year on,
in.
year off kind of thing.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's quick, dude. The op tempo was a crazy. Looking back on it, dude, that time op tempo was off the charts.
Yeah, because at the time we went, our entire division was gone. So
Yeah.
the base was like a ghost town.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
We had a year. It wasn't a year.
Yeah.
In that year that we were home was, post deployment leave, pre deployment leave. So there's 30 cutting down. Now we're down to 10 months. And you get the training stuff in between. You're just never there. But we were gone for 7 months. But like even still, like I just remember being like, bro, we're moving. This is like I guess this is why they call it the military industrial complex.
Yeah,
like
man.
it's this thing's oiled up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So 3 months. That's insane. That's insane. I mean, I get it, but and then you're gone for what, 14 months?
We were gone for a year that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to
Who decides that? Why do they decide like sometimes it's 14, sometimes it's a year? Because we would sometimes extend.
Yeah.
You guys got extended a few months, not like, but y'all are.
It was
That's
pretty
big army
much
that
in the
decides
like
that.
2000, I would say 2007 to 2009-ish is when they were pretty much everybody was going over 15 months, like during the surge.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like slowly went back to, everyone's doing 12 months again. So yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah. No, not at all. It was a pretty good trip. It was a really good trip.
It's like you said, it was just enough time to fully know your battle space
Yeah.
and truly become battle space owners, and then you're ripped right out from
And then
under
they're
it.
like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, but we were doing so well. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, yep, well, we got to come back and make more money. So,
Yeah, no shit, right.
so you guys hit the ground. What month is it?
August, right?
Yeah, it was August. Yeah, we showed up in August of 2010.
Still hot. Still
Yeah.
hot as shit.
Yeah.
Like meat's falling off the bone during the day.
Yeah.
And so that means you were there for a full year. So then you got the winter too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said this publicly. I almost got hypothermia on my second tour. I almost got evacuated for it.
Damn, son.
Damn.
We were moving around, insert.
You're wearing too much.
I didn't take off my layers.
Yeah.
I didn't have time. We didn't have time.
You just don't wear it.
Well, I had a hoodie, and that was what got me
See,
cold.
that was the thing that we kind of adapted, like as a platoon. It's like you didn't wear shit. Like, you just went out.
We were also spoiled. We were out
Yes.
for maybe 6 hours.
Yeah, and then like
That is true. That is true. We were
brother. We were out the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
So we took over. We were like, it was during the initial insult of Marja, and so we took over a school, and they're like, it's a building, which is code for one wall. It was not a building.
Yeah.
And then guys are like hidden behind rubble, pulling 360. And so I just had a hoodie on. We've been pushing all day. I popped the gear off, let it dry, didn't get enough. I woke up and I thought I was dead because I woke up to blue and red flames and purple flames, and it was C4 that the engineers had brought in to start a fire. And like my best friend was
Oh, I
wrapped.
thought you were hallucinating.
I know. I was just like, oh my God, is that the burning bush? And like my best friend was wrapped around me, just like rubbing my chest, being like, he's awake, he's awake. And I was just like, what the fuck happened?
Why is he hard?
Yeah. And it was the only thing that was weird about it was he had to kiss me every time and it was, I didn't know that was how CPR worked.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Nude CPR apparently will work really well for hypothermic situations.
Yeah.
It is-
Yeah.
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 I didn't know that until that moment. But yeah, it's so Afghanistan's such a gnarly place how it goes from like melting sun to like I think the cold was actually only like 70 degrees, but it felt like Antarctica.
And it's it's a whole different world that people don't even realize. So like we went out on one and they were like on a mission out in the mountains, and like we went to this little village and they were like asking us like, are you guys the Russians? And then other people
Yeah.
like, which czar is in charge of Russia right now? We're like, holy fuck. Yeah, like, nah, bro. Like,
Interesting fact.
yeah.
No, I had a dude tell me who had like maybe 4 fingers on both of his hands.
Yeah.
In Garmser, he came out. We pushed to like the outer section, and he He said, I was killing white boys before you were, I was killing Russians before you were born, white boy. And he like spit at us. And I was like, easy, dog. Like,
Respect.
you're good. Out of respect, I'm going to let you go. And he was just like, obviously he had a little too much or not enough when he was making those anti-Russian bombs. But yeah, I was like, just leave us alone. We'll leave you alone. He's like, all right, cool. But he was like literally like, get the fuck out of here, Boots. And I was like, oh, chill. But I don't know. So you guys are out there talking about the czars, going far, doing all sorts of stuff. How did it feel? Is this your first tour to Afghanistan this time?
That was my second one.
Your second? So did it feel different battle space to battle space or all the same? Because I'm very curious. I was only in one spot.
Each trip, it's completely different. Obviously Afghanistan's Afghanistan,
and it's very tribal.
We had a different mission set this time. So like they called us the focus targeting force. So we ended up being like a brigade level asset. So we did, we just strictly did targeting. That's all we did.
When you say strictly targeting, what do you mean exactly?
Like, so you
get packages, the whole thing.
100%. So we got spoiled. We had like an entire brigade intel cell dedicated to us. We had our own,
shit.
enabler cell dedicated to us, just like I ended up having later on down in SF. And we modeled it after the task force that was out there, which was, the Rangers and, Delta Force out there.
At that time it was Task Force 310.
Yeah, I think it was 310. And so we modeled it after that because our entire chain of command, luckily ended up becoming, they were all ex-Ranger Regiment officers. So they kind of modeled us after that. Obviously we weren't as good initially. And we had two Chinooks, I think it was 4 Blackhawks and 2 Apaches dedicated to our platoon to have at our disposal.
Your 30-man platoon?
Yes.
This is in fucking insane.
Yeah, so we had our own targeting cell. We had NGA with us. It was incredible. And it was
NGA?
What is it? The National Geospatial Agency?
I know.
Geospatial Aeronautical
I know
Agency,
what you're talking about now. Yes.
Yeah. And so
God, y'all really do get everything.
Dude, they kept reminding us through the deployment because at the time I was like a young soldier, obviously. They're just like, this is not a normal fucking deployment.
It sounds like a fucking ODA.
It was better than it was better than ODA missions, dude.
I mean, you would know, but it's
better. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. And like I was saying,
I'm hearing direct assets.
Yeah. And we had dog teams. We had EOD with us. We had
on just a platoon.
Yes, bro.
God, y'all.
And we
too much money, huh?
We also had another platoon get tasked to us to beat just our blocking positions.
Blocking positions and QRFs, huh?
Yeah.
So you're setting like inner and outer cordons. You're doing like legit targeting packages.
Yeah,
hey, we're gonna go and grab Muhammad and his brother Muhammad. Yeah.
And it was pretty awesome. And we did that. God, I don't even know how many freaking halves or helicopter assaults that we did throughout.
Said it was over 100.
Yeah.
And I think we captured about somewhere upwards of 30 something targets.
Damn.
It was fucking awesome.
Why was this task specifically to this unit? Anything? I'm very curious about this. I mean, obviously proficiency.
It was just kind of like the stars aligned for this particular thing. They kind of started it with whoever we replaced, and it was just the stars aligning. They're like, yeah, we need an additional kind of targeting asset in the theater.
I like it.
And so it was.
I like a platoon size element, just being like, we're here to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And here are all the things we have associated
and,
with this.
I learned so much from, we went out with 310 a bunch and I saw their kind of TTPs and SOPs and I kind of adopted a little bit. And then I learned so much in that trip that I ended up bringing, I brought a lot of it with me over to when I ended up going to SF. I'm like, hey, this is what I've done in the past. It worked phenomenally well,
Jesus. So how often were you going out? Like once a week or something like that? I mean, because now it's
3-4 times a week.
3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
We were just doing combat patrols every day at least, but
we
get missions
3-4 times
too.
a week. Yeah.
That's how many packages we're rolling through.
Yeah. I mean, there were low ball nobodies for the most part.
Yeah.
They were
fucking capos.
It was
and
more
shit.
of a fucking numbers game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was
more than just targets too. Like it was caches, it was radio towers. It was
Yeah.
We got to go to Pakistan, which was cool.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah.
All right. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Now.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. We weren't supposed to, but we were there.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, it was only like.
No wonder you became a Green Beret.
It was
You're
like
I can't wait.
It was like 100 meters into it. Yeah. But
you're like, not a war crime? War crime.
Yeah.
Not a war crime?
Yeah, it was a phenomenal trip. We only got into one gunfight that entire trip, which was crazy. It was
the incident?
crazy. Yeah.
And
this is the building right here.
That's the building?
Yeah.
You know Case? You know Casey Hildreth?
Yeah, he was on my. You know him?
Yeah, he's such a fucking dude.
He was
love
he was on
him.
my team.
Dude, I love Casey.
Yeah.
Like, for real, if there's anyone you need to learn shooting from, everyone follow Casey Hildreth.
Absolutely.
Case Hildreth, honestly, one of the most humble dudes out there, literally doing some of the best marksmanship. He's so crazy. He called me once a few weeks ago, and he's like, Zach, did you know you're left eye dominant? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, I could tell. And I was like, from an Instagram story? And he goes, yeah, brother, it's what I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And he does a lot of classes. Everyone should check him out, Casey Hildreth on Instagram.
He was on we're on the snipes together in SF. Yeah, so we're on the same ODA together.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he was a gnarly dude.
He's a fucking gangster.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And he
Get him on the pod.
We're gonna get him. He's up north. He's not far from
He
here.
was here not too long ago.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it. I was so bummed because like he actually does do like, and you know about this more than everyone. Everyone really eats out, especially on their SF cred, and they teach gun courses, and you have to really dig in, or else you're gonna be taught by a moron. But like everyone, I don't know anyone who's like, dude, that's Himothy right there. That's a him, dude.
100%. Yeah, you don't want to learn from anybody else than somebody like that. And that dude's probably forgot more sniper shit than I'll ever know.
Didn't he teach at the schoolhouse too?
Yeah, he taught a little bit. Yeah.
What
yeah,
a bro.
Yeah, he taught statistic for a little bit.
What a bro. We're gonna get him out too. I mean, it's not far from him.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Perfect. But this is the building. So this is the story I've been waiting to hear about. And as much as you're comfortable talking about, sure, because I know it's hard because you guys lost someone. But tell me about this. Walk me through it.
Yeah. So this was it was like right at the beginning of spring. So
Spring offensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was. Well, I got a funny story about a couple of days before all this happened. Was so we did this assault. It was on April 19th, and it was on this big. It was one small family village complex, but it was super small.
Yeah.
Well, super small village, but pretty big area. And we landed, and we ended up finding a gigantic cache there. It was pretty fucking successful.
Bunch of dope and a bunch of guns.
Yeah, and but the funny thing is, right when we landed, we started getting squirters. People running away from the ejector, trying to get away from us, trying to get away from the helicopters.
Yeah.
And my team was moving up towards the the breach and the assault position. And we got squirters, and there's one dude that they sparkled, shined the light from the aircraft. And he was running away, and my dudes were like in a perfect wedge, being, doing the right thing.
Team wedge squad.
Yeah, I got so excited. I fucking just passed him.
Yeah.
And I was like sprinting after this dude, and I fucking like open field tackled him in the mud. And I was so stoked because I wanted to do that so bad, And that was
you got it.
It was like on my bucket list. And I was like, my bucket list was like, I want to open field tackle a dude, a squirter.
Yeah.
I want to kill a bad guy in his own bedroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was why I was like, oh shit. So I was fucking sprinting at him, and I speared him, and I was so excited. We cuffed him, and he was all muddy. I was all muddy, and I got him up, and I looked at him. The dude was like 70 years old. I'm like, God damn it. It's not even that cool,
dude. Dude, can you imagine the story he tells?
Yeah.
Like some just crazy soldiers looking like a fullback running at him.
Yeah. And I was like, we brought him back, and they're like, who messed up the old guy? I was like, yeah, God damn it.
Whatever, dude. I'm pretty sure he knows some stuff.
Yeah.
Question him.
Yeah.
But so you do that, and then this incident happens on.
Yeah, a couple of days later. So we there was this one place in Paktika province. It was called the Yayakel district, and essentially it was like a middle ground coming from Pakistan. The fighters come from Pakistan, go through this area, and then go down to Helmand. So this is kind of like a staging area of sorts.
Yeah. Is that where they were like getting mission and stuff and gear and everything?
I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't too keen on the intel game back in the day.
Yeah.
I just, so there was a big weapons cache that we're looking for. I think it was like CSUs or anti-aircraft guns that we're looking for.
CSUs are?
They're Russian anti-aircraft weapons. Yeah. I think it's 25 millimeter equivalent-ish. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
So
anti-aircraft weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. And we went out to find this cache, and I've been trying to go to Yayakel pretty much the entire trip because our battalion's been fighting there since we hit the ground. We lost. I think we lost how many guys? 6, I think. But They were getting into
we were
gunfights
upwards
every single
towards, like,
day.
6,
They were
yeah.
getting casualties almost every single day. So this is
No
where I wanted
shit.
to go. I was begging our commander, like, we need to fucking go to Guayaquil,
6
man.
dudes KIA.
Like through up until this point. Yeah.
That's gnarly.
Yeah. Just like we were getting a lot of dudes getting messed up.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
so
Probably double that injured. Yeah.
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 That we had out there. They were taking
You know,
IDF and fire.
Yeah,
like,
IDF, and like
fuck.
they were doing pretty smart stuff. So they would mask sniper fire with machine gun fire. So they would
Who
shoot at
taught
you.
them that?
Nah, geez, I don't know.
Mm.
So yeah, that's where it was. I was begging for us to go there the entire time, and then we had this weapons cache that we're going to go on to, and it was the 22nd of April. Well, at the time it was 21st of April, but going into the 22nd, kind of like period of darkness.
Yeah.
So we took 2 Chinooks out there, and then we landed split ship, which essentially we split the village. One helicopter landed on one side of it, one helicopter landed on the other side of it, and that's essentially to like try to contain it initially. So from there we moved into the village, and it was super bright outside. It was super bright. Full moon, and
People don't know that either. In Afghanistan, if it's full loom, you can literally see everything.
yeah.
Because there's nothing else. There's no light. There's no noise. It's
Yeah.
kind of gnarly, to be honest. You
And
don't even
then-
need NVGs
No, yeah, exactly.
at all.
And so the second we hit ground, we got a call on the radio that they had a bunch of squirters on motorcycles with a bunch of machine guns and weapons and stuff moving towards our location. And we were going in, and initially we're trying to find a spot to like set up our block position at, and then drop them off, and then we're going to move on to the main objective. And so we sat tight for a little bit in the Apache and engaged all those guys and killed a bunch of dudes, on the motorcycles. And I was pretty excited, but I actually, at the time, I thought they were coming towards us. So when the Apaches were engaging them, I was like, motherfuckers, I was super pissed at them. I'm like, come on, let me get this,
Yeah, you are a war dog. I fucking love that about you.
And
you'll see an Apache be like, fucking idiot, those are mine.
Oh, 100%. I did
You
that all
reminded
the
me of
time.
like Legolas and Gimli in Lord of the Rings counting. you know what I'm saying? 17, 18. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, man. Like, they fucking take away our fun, man.
No, I get it.
And
Yeah.
so like, I thought they were coming towards me. I was like, yeah, fuck it, So we did a bunch of explosive breaches because that block position, it was never good enough for them for some reason. And so we went to like 3 or 4 different buildings. We're like, all right, we're just going to drag these a-holes with us to the main objective. And we went to this one building, and at this point, we've rehearsed this exact target building over and over and over and over. That's what I did with my guys all the time. We drew out the exact layout of the building.
Yeah.
And we rehearsed it nonstop. So like I knew every building, every room, every door like the back of my hand, And this gate, it was a stupid, flimsy little stupid gate.
Yep.
And I didn't know at the time, but it was locked like 4 to 6 different places like around it. So it wasn't a normal hinge and lock and blow the lock and it opens.
Had chains on it? Or
No,
just
it had
regular
like
locks?
like the little rods.
Yeah, the lock and pin.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like on the top and the bottom and the sides.
Oh, that
And,
means there's something in there.
And sort of, but it was like super flimsy, and we're trying to open it. And at this point, because I used all my charges earlier, like
Yeah.
it wasn't opening. We tried shotgunning this thing. We blew a hole in it. We tried calling people out of it. I threw freaking thermobaric grenades on the other side to try to wake the people up, and it was, we couldn't get this damn door open, and it was driving me insane.
Yeah.
And so I ended up asking for help, and they brought a couple other door charges. Wasn't it you, Bloss, that brought it to us?
Yeah, we brought them to you.
And
Because I think Fritz had them at the time.
yeah. So we blew this door, and once
And you're
we got
on
it-
target.
Yeah, this is the actual objective. This
So
is where we
this-
thought
this
this
is-
cache was.
Yeah,
at,
and this is obviously much slower than what's really happening. Like you're there, you're stacked, and you're just like throwing grenades and everything else.
Yeah, and for me, it felt like it took forever. I was sitting there. I'm just like, how
Yeah.
can I not get
You're
this
in
door
the
open?
open.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind on this thing, and we finally got the door open, and then we ended up clearing it, doing like it's called sensitive site exploitation, like marking rooms, taking pictures of rooms, finding evidence, putting them in evidence bags, taking pictures of all that crap, later for if we detain anybody. And there's one single old lady in there just off the room directly to the left of the door. And she was like, I didn't hear anything. I didn't know anybody was out here. Like, come on, dude.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, so we finally cleared it up, and like as we're looking for this weapons cache for these like anti-aircraft guns, we didn't find anything. As we're sitting there, we're slowly packing everything up. We're kind of finishing up. We're like, yeah, well, this is kind of a bust. It was a dry hole.
Bummer.
Yeah. And dry hole is like, if you go on the objective looking for something specific and there's nothing there, or there's no people there that you needed, you know? And so as we were kind of like finishing everything up, I sat down with my EOD guy and we're fashioning charges. Like I was just, just in case, because I ran out, like an a-hole, and I had to ask for help, which was like killed my ego, And so we were doing that, and then I started hearing a shit ton of gunfire. And we had this other platoon with us. He was part of our Delta company, which is like our heavy weapons company. The guys, drive trucks with anti-tank rockets and shit on it.
Yeah.
So
tows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, so they weren't as, like versed in, CQB and just like basic, dismounted stuff. They weren't as versed.
They're vehicle mounted.
Yeah. So
that's
like,
fine. Yeah.
So we heard a bunch of gunshots, and there was a little bit of animosity between the two platoons. It was kind of stupid. And
but there always is.
Yeah, 100%. And
second sucks. Third sucks. Yeah.
And we had their platoon sergeant with us at the time, and I did not like this dude at all. But so I heard a bunch of gunfire and shooting, and I was like, the first thing that went through my head was just like, what are these fucking idiots shooting at? We're gonna be out here all damn day, like, and they're just making shit up. I was fucking pissed, and so. And then a red star cluster popped off, and that was our signal for like, we got casualty. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Holy fuck.
I was like, all right, so we got casualties. All right, let's start packing this shit up. And what came over the radio was just that like we got a casualty. I think if I remember right, we got a casualty, and they're trapped. And so.
And you're in the building at this point.
I was in the main objective, and I think I was like 2 or 3 clicks, maybe a little bit less from where the contact was taken at, because it was our block position that took contact.
Okay.
So we started packing up. They needed some help, and the platoon sergeant with us at the time, and he was like, stressed and a little overwhelmed. And it was like, we gotta go. And we're packing up. We're like, all right, yeah, let's start to move out, and we're gonna do this the right way, because we're in fucking, we're in no man's land right now,
Yeah.
And so I was
2 to 3 clicks away. That's far.
I think. It might have been less. I don't remember.
I think it was less than that.
Yeah, it might have been less than that. It might have been,
either way,
it might have been even a click, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's still far crazy,
and,
man.
And it was super densely packed, urban.
Yeah.
And but this platoon sergeant was super stressed, and he was like trying to go like fast and like stay behind me, like our guys would get security, because it was just him and his medic. And my guys were walking through, putting guns in holes, like pulling gun security. And this dude just fucking ran straight past me. I'm like, dude, what are you fucking doing? And so he ran past me. I was like, well, fuck him,
I mean,
at that point,
he can only do so much.
He outranked me, like, bro, like, fucking do you, boo, know? And so my guys were in trail, essentially, but we were, leading the element over there, because we had like EOD, we had the female engagement team with us. So they had with us. So we started walking towards, and we got behind this giant wall, and then we started hearing shit ton of more gunfire, a lot more explosions and shit. And I was like, all right, cool. And I hit up to you. I can't remember who I asked. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I can't remember who I ran up to, and I asked him, I was like, what is going on? Where is everybody? What do I need to go to? And I just heard a bunch of, a lot more explosions and shooting. And they just said, hey, it's on the other side of this wall. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And so the second I heard a lull in gunfire, I button hooked around this, like it was a tall wall, and I button hooked around it. And then the first thing I noticed, I saw this small building with giant windows, and there was a little short wall, so it was like an alleyway just past it. Yeah, 100%. That's
the
it.
building?
Yeah, so that's the building. I remember there's big windows in, and I just saw like the insides of there like lighting up, flashing, and I was just like,
muzzle
holy
flash.
shit, because like it was right there. Like, holy shit, they were right there. And I saw one of the younger kids, Nick Striffler, was there. And if you kind of like go back a little bit to like pre-deployment training and stuff, he showed up brand new, like he was a kid.
Yeah.
And real timid. And so I essentially picked on him our entire fucking time we were in the States. I picked on this dude nonstop. I made him stand in a company headquarters, and anytime anybody walked past him, I made him scream in their face, I'm the fucking man.
Hey, man.
And so it was funny. So
I love it.
And so I button hooked, and I saw him just standing there And he was just fucking gunning it. And I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you, you know?
You taught him to believe.
Yeah, at
It'd be
that time,
great
at that time,
yeah.
our squad was like one of the first ones behind this wall right here that you see.
Yeah.
I like
And-
this photo, and I know it's a very hard subject,
No,
but
I mean-
it's a perfect photo to really show like
How
Yeah, that's
close,
how
how
the
close you
engagement-
were,
Yeah.
but also the way the world is in Afghanistan. These weird little walls that are fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
That you honestly can't anticipate till you're there.
Yeah.
They're also damn near indestructible.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like,
oh,
I
yeah,
put
they were
50s
built for war, dude.
RPGs.
Yeah, 100%.
And then
Yeah.
like look at like that's gnarly.
This wall right here is where he's talking about where he saw him at. So
Yeah.
him and this other person in my team, Velasquez, were on this side of the wall. I was on the opposite side of the wall, and him and Striffler were firing dead into these
What is
windows.
that? 200 meters?
Brother,
No, that was like
way
40.
close.
Way closer.
It was like
Hey.
40 meters, maybe.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, it is closer. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty damn close. And so like I turned the corner and I remember Bloss pulling their platoon sergeant because he just got fragged. So he just went straight to the objective, like doing anything. He just ran straight to where he thought the casualties were. Bloss? No, the platoon sergeant that
Platoon
ran
sergeant.
past us. Yeah.
Zach, for reference, this side of the wall right here is
Yeah.
so I remember
That's like
that
a little
part.
square.
Yeah, it's like a little
it's a
square.
garden. It's a garden.
Yeah, it's our
So,
gardens.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, like he was panicking, he was freaking out.
Yeah.
And we knew that Castro was like in the courtyard. So we went around this corner, myself, Robbie, and him, because he was like, I just need 2 people to come with me. So we decided to come with him.
Yeah.
We go around that corner, and then that's when they
got
throw.
fragged.
We got
Yeah.
fragged.
Yeah. So he got fragged and the medic got hurt too, if I remember right. Yeah.
mhm.
Him and the
Yeah,
medic
so
got
they
hurt.
were in front of us, and they
Yeah.
took everything. So myself and Robbie
Jesus
pulled.
Christ.
Yeah, so they pulled him back, and that's when I turned the corner. Is when they were pulling him kind of across into
Yeah.
cover,
Mhm.
and he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
And and I just remember, I looked down and I saw one of the Afghan police with us, and he was just like his M16 was between his legs and he was covering his ears.
Yeah.
Like way to fight for your country, bro. And
That's what they do.
so that was the first thing. I sat down and we ran into our fucking platoon sergeant at the time and Dave Fritz. And they were both kind of freaking out. He lost his ACOG, got shot off his weapon, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And
People have no concept of how gnarly this is.
Yeah.
This is danger close.
yeah, and like
Damn near put on bayonets.
we had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it felt like the world was shooting at us, But like even then, it still didn't like comprehend in my mind that the bad guys are right there. I went up to our platoon sergeant. I was like, "What is going on?" And he's like, "Yo, they're shooting at us from right there." And I was like, "From where?" He's like, "Right there." I was like, "Are you fucking right there? Holy
Yeah.
shit!" For some reason, it just didn't click. I don't know why.
Well, because that's rare.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, the
incredibly
engagements
rare.
usually take place, right?
Yeah,
Anywhere
super far
between
away,
2,
yeah.
3,
Yeah,
400.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like you got time, you can hear it crack, but you can't hear them whiz like that.
Yeah,
Not usually.
And then
My fucking heart's racing right now.
yeah, so we sat and he was just like, "All right, we're gonna open up on 3." And so I had my team behind the wall and team 1, which is with Bloss and them. He was there behind the wall. We popped up and we all shot a freaking a mag in all the windows. And I ended up throwing a frag. And I have zero recollection of this whatsoever. But a few guys said that I did this. I got a frag and I chucked it like perfect inside of one of the windows.
Yeah.
And it
You
detonated.
still had that curveball on you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was funny. So like, I don't remember. I have zero recollection of throwing this hand grenade inside the building, but they said I did.
Well, that's how I know you did it. It's called the fog of war. Because you're also like, I'm in charge of like X amount of people and I got to shoot. Like there's a lot of time. That's just muscle memory. You're just
Yeah.
reacting.
Yeah, and like, so we first, we duked it out with them for a little bit, and we're like, "Fuck, dude!" I didn't know where the casualties were at the time. I didn't know where the friendlies were at the time. I had almost zero situational
You're just in
awareness.
QRF basically.
I was just I want to say survival mode because I was fucking amped. I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have much situational awareness going besides what was right there in front of us, and I knew that okay, there's a building next to us. I don't know where the casualties are, so we ended up breaching the compound right next to us to get into it. Like I was like
Breaching the wall in between the two compounds.
I breached the door,
Okay.
and then that opened up into like another garden, so it was completely empty. Excuse me, sorry.
You're good.
And we're like, oh shit. So we ended up getting EOD, and they put like a wall charge, and we blew the wall down.
Damn.
And essentially I didn't know where the casualties were. I was just trying to flank the bad guys.
Yeah.
And then hopefully find the casualties, because I didn't know where they were at the time.
Yeah.
And so that ended up being a bust, and I was like, it was kind of a bigger compound, and I was going to go all the way to the other side and try to go into the mosque from the back end.
Is it a mosque? That's a mosque, right?
It ended up, yes. I didn't know at the time.
It
but
looks like a
was
mosque because it's nice.
Yeah,
it's
and
nice.
There were speakers on top, and I didn't know it was a mosque at the time. And I was going to try to go around the backside of the mosque, but I was just like, "What? This is just way too much far. It was way too far. I didn't know what was on the other side of that. It was.
This is just you running point.
They were there pretty much pulling security on the mosque still.
Yeah.
And then I took one or two guys from his team and brought them with me. So our small 5-man element was running through that backside.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so we ended up breaching. I blew a door to go into the main compound, like where the living area was, that was next to the mosque. And it was a tiny door, and we blew it. And I was the first one in, and I just remember, just dust and everywhere. I was like, oh shit, I can't see. I really hope there's no bad guys in here.
Yeah.
And then we ended up, the door we blew up ended up being into like the animal pen. So we had to like walk through a bunch of, goat shit to get through it. And I was just like crawling on my hands and knees like, oh man, I hope I don't fucking get shot. In donkey poo.
Please, Lord, not now.
Yeah. And then, so we got in there, we cleared that building, and we went up to the roof. And the second we got up to the roof, I was there with my platoon leader, and they started shooting at us a little bit more. And there was just a tiny lip on that roof. And I finally saw where the other element is, where it was 3 Delta, the other platoon that was with us.
Mm-hmm.
And they were standing on top of the fucking mosque. And I was just like,
with
what?
you?
No, they were on so we were on the adjacent building, and they were on the mosque to where we just got shot at from. And I was like,
nobody knew.
People knew. I didn't know.
But you're maneuvering everywhere. Nobody.
We didn't know at the time they were up there. Nobody knew.
They never flicked us with a light and stuff. And,
never, bro.
Is it daylight?
No, it was nighttime. And I just got done throwing fucking hand grenades in there. We shot the fuck out of it. We shot 2 or 3s at it.
Holy shit!
Dude, what the fuck?
How did
insane, bro?
And take a few more steps back.
Hang on, just so I'm clear, I want to make this clear to the audience too. So you're maneuvering around another building adjacent to what you then learn later is the mosque, where you're taking fire.
Yes.
There's a casualty somewhere in the courtyard of the mosque. Multiple casualties.
Yeah.
And there's an element of how many people?
It was like 2 or 3, right?
I think it started 5 or 6, and it ended up.
Because I think some of them already had scaled the building down.
Okay, so there's, let's just say, 2 to 3, maybe 5 to 6 people on the roof of the fucking building that everyone's shooting at,
right?
And no one's informed you.
I think that our platoon leader knew. I think I don't know who all knew. I didn't fucking know. I didn't know.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
And we were shooting
This
at
is a real not a mass casualty. This is a real fucking catastrophic event. Then.
It could have been. It could have been horrible. And
Jesus.
The second I saw them, and I'm just like, I was looking, I was like, where's the casualties? Where's the casualties?
They got IR on their head and stuff, and
I don't remember.
I don't think they had those. I think only we had those.
Yeah, and I remember looking for the casualties, and I heard they're here, and I looked up. I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? And I even take a few more steps back, like it was a fucking mosque. Why would you put your blocking position on top of a mosque?
Jesus.
There's speakers. It was a fucking mosque, dude. And I like the guys that were there. It was a mistake that, fuck, dude.
Yeah. And for context, only mosques have speakers, and only mosques look like mosques. They're usually the best building for miles.
Yeah.
They have really good concrete. Usually, everything's smooth. It has windows and doors. It's the thing they invest in as a village.
And at this time, this platoon, what would you say? Maybe their second, third time out with us, supporting us in this role.
They were out quite a bit, to be honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah, I would give it. They were probably out there quite a bit, actually. Yeah, quite a bit. I would say every 3rd or 4th mission they were out there with us. So and this was halfway through the trip, or actually about 3/4 of the way through the trip. And and I was sitting there. I was fucking flabbergasted, and I was like,
I'm flabbergasted.
And so they were like, yeah, the casualties down there. And I looked down, and I was trying to find a different way. I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can find a different way around to get to the casualties at least. And I was looking around, and there was nothing, dude. It was that little courtyard, and then they had the road on the far side, but I have to run back to where I just came from and, get lit up coming around that way. And then, but there's literally no other way besides going straight to him. So you had the front of the mosque, the door, and those 3 large bay windows, and you had to run. There's an alleyway off to the right-hand side, probably 3 or 4 people wide that you had to run down. And then the only casualties I saw at the time, there was one guy there. His name was Mendez, and he was sitting there, and there was an Afghan guy in another little, it was an alleyway, and then it kind of cut off into like a dead end.
Yeah.
And there was another Afghan casualty stuck in there, and those are the only 2 casualties that I saw at all. And I looked down, and I was like, "Are you guys okay?" And he's like, "Nope."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, we're gonna come to you, dude." And I was kind of thinking, I was like, "All right, how the fuck do I do this?" And I told the platoon leader, I told our platoon leader, Carlos Del Pozo, I was just like, "I'm gonna take we have to just go straight at him."
Yeah, we got to do something.
So what I ended up doing is I brought a couple more guys up to the rooftop to replace us, and then I put a machine gun right in front of the mosque for us, and essentially I set up a base of fire on 2 sides of the mosque, like a little mini L shape on them. And I put my guys. It was myself, Jake Wilder, and David Stone were the 3 guys that volunteered to come with me, or the 2 guys that volunteered to come with me on this. And essentially, we're going to lay down a base of fire, and we're going to haul ass straight. And one guy was going to stop short and start shooting at the mosque as well, while the other 2 grabbed the other 2 casualties and bring it back.
Yeah.
So I took lead on that because it was more of just like, yeah, we're probably going to get fucked up,
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna not be first, like I'm a leader. I'm not gonna let these guys get shot before me.
That's leadership. Yeah.
And so I remember thinking right before I counted down, I was like, dude, I wonder how bad it's gonna hurt to get shot.
Yeah.
It was kind of a stupid thought. I'm just like, I hope it don't hurt too bad, because I assumed I was about to get shot or fragged, and I was just like, I hope it doesn't hurt too bad, I
hope it doesn't hurt too bad.
And so I counted down 3, 2, 1 or whatever, and they started shooting. And luckily for us, the dudes inside the mosque didn't notice us running through. They saw the guy shooting from on top of the roof that I was just on.
Yeah.
And they were shooting at them as we were running down.
Perfect.
And so I remember feeling like dirt and shit falling down. And I went up and I grabbed Mendez. I'm like, "Hey, dude, you're okay?" And he's like, "No, I'm hurting." I was like, "Hey, you're going to be all right." And I kind of put him over my shoulder, and I carried them back, and they were shooting at each other the whole time. And, thank God they didn't notice us running there.
Yeah.
We'd have been fucked up too. And it was funny, as I was first initially running towards Mendez to get him, I always carried those old 20-round mags like in Vietnam with me because I was a fucking douche.
Yeah.
And I was shooting, I was going as fast as I was shooting because I was running straight at the front door, essentially. And I went to mag lock. Or bolt lock, I'm sorry. And I was like, I just panicked. I was like, oh, fuck, because I didn't have a pistol back then, So I just dropped it and grabbed the casualty, and, we went back and we carried him back, got him back to the casualty control point that Bloss and Robbie kind of set up in that building that we just cleared a little bit earlier. And I was breathing heavy. I was like, oh, thank God, that's fucking over. And David Stone was like, what about the other one? And I was just like, what do you mean the other one? What the fuck are you talking about? They're like, there was another casualty right in front of the mosque. And I was like, no, there wasn't, dude. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I had no idea. And it ended up being Castro, which is an old friend of mine. I actually met him right before I went to Ramadi back in 2004, 2005, because, I played baseball growing up, and then he ended up playing for Team USA growing up as well. So he was a phenomenal baseball player.
For sure.
And so him and I played baseball literally every single night after work for a couple months before we deployed to Ramadi. And then he ended up getting hurt in Ramadi real bad, and we kind of lost touch up until this deployment. So John Castro, he was the casualty. I didn't know it at the time. I had no idea. And so I was thinking, I was like, all right, fuck, we got to go back. God, fuck, And so I didn't know where he was, and I felt like a shitbag telling Stone that. I was like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know where he is. I need you to lead us there. And so I told him, I was like, you're going to lead us there. You're going to go past him and set up a base of fire, and then Jake and I are going to grab the casualty. And so essentially we had a run. Have you seen that picture that we ran onto the right? We ran to that same alleyway again, and then we button hooked, and he was a couple feet inside of the, he was a few feet past that little opening. And so we button hooked right past it, and we were 4 or 5 feet from the windows we're getting shot at from. And Stone ran past him and started shooting in the windows. And then Jake and I started grabbing him and pulling him. And I remember being like, at this time, like I was in at least the best, I was the best I was in phenomenal shape back then, you know? And me and Jake were pulling this dude, and it was the hardest thing I ever fucking done because it ended up, we found out later that he had like mortar rounds in his backpack. And then we're also pulling him. There was like a little shit creek that we're kind of like dragging him through the mud. Yeah. And we're pulling him. It was a black backpack, and it was big, but we're grabbing him by his vest straps and pulling him. And then for a second, I kind of looked up and I looked down, and I saw something fall by his feet. And it was dark, but it didn't really register what it was. And then the next thing I remember, I fell on my ass, and Jake fell on his ass too. And so it turned out like they fragged us. And I didn't get touched. It was like, it landed 2 or 3, maybe a foot or so, maybe a foot or 2 away from Castro's feet as we were dragging him. And I looked at it didn't register. Jake got a little bit of shrapnel in his face, but other than that, nothing. Stone didn't get touched at all because it detonated between us and Stone.
Distance, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how. Maybe it was a bad grenade or something, but we didn't get fucking touched. It just knocked us on our ass. You know? And so we kept dragging him back, and then I think it was Bloss that helped us finally pull him in. So we drug him that whole time, and it was heavy as shit. And then I was dying, and I think Bloss helped me pull him the last like 2 or 3 feet back into cover. And I sat there just like, holy fuck, just out of breath. And I looked over, and Jake was bleeding a little bit, but not too bad.
Yeah, he had like some blood dripping down from
just
under his
a tiny bit. Yeah. So we pulled him back, and we pulled him to the CCP, and that's when I kind of noticed who it was. I was like, holy fuck, dude. Yeah. And I started ripping his clothes off of him. And Doc Pardon, he was a good friend of ours. He ended up committing suicide a little bit a couple years after this trip. It was horrendous, dude. That was, but he was helping me treat him, and I was trying to put an IV on him, and he kind of stopped me. He's like, nah, dude, don't worry about it. So I was just like, fuck, man.
Didn't he had us cover his face too, remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Because right after that, I looked over, and there was an Afghan that walked up to me, a little guy, and he dropped his pants in front of me. And so apparently this dude got shot through and through his legs, but also clipped his nutsack. And his testicles rolled like pretty much all the way to the ground. And I was just like, I wasn't a medic, dude. I didn't know anything. And I was just like, oh, fuck, what do I do? These balls are just hanging here, you know? And so essentially I, thankfully I have gloves on, but I wound him back up, and I put like a diaper on him. And we tourniqueted his legs, obviously. But I was just seeing look.
I think I would have passed out. He's tougher than me.
Dude, I laughed, dude. I was just like, what the fuck? These dude's nuts are just, dangling. So we put him on a diaper. And then later on, I was like, oh, what was I supposed to do? I'm like, oh, that was the right answer.
Basically,
I was like, oh, sweet, I was like, and then from there, after we, dealt with a couple of casualties, handing them off to the, everybody at the casualty collection point, they're like, hey, we didn't go fucking clear that mosque. And I was like, fuck yeah, And I started asking trying to gather the Afghans to come with us, and they're like, "Oh, fuck you, dude. We ain't going in there."
Not a chance.
And it was me, and I got a couple guys from my team, and I think I asked for volunteers from your team too. I don't remember who. I don't remember who was going to come with me. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking take lead. Like, I'm going to go. And I told my guys, I had everybody plus us up on frags.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey guys, before we enter any room, we're going to frag it 2 or 3 times. And
I remember that.
I was plussing up frags, and we're getting ready to go, and I was fucking amped. I was ready to go. I was excited to go. I didn't care if I died. I accepted it.
Yeah.
Like, what cooler fucking way is there to die than that? So we were ready to go, and they made kind of like a last minute decision. They were going to drop a bomb on the mosque for us, and we were about ready to go. And at our time, our fires officer, Paul Billy, he grabbed me by the back of my plate carrier and was like, fucking stop, dude. Because I was amped, And so that probably saved my life.
Yeah.
And so we ended up starting to work everything to, move out of the way to get out of the minimum,
distance.
minimum distance,
Yeah,
from
danger
a bomber
close.
drone, and the minimum safe distance or MSD. But there was a lull there, which there was no eyes on the building for a little bit, and
Yeah, because you're backing up.
yeah, and which was a mistake of mine that I didn't think of it at the time. It's a huge fucking oversight on my part. And during this time, we had the recon platoon or one other recon team, kind of like, I think they were at caddy corner on the other side of the mosque.
Yes, Tarasovik's team,
Yeah,
right?
Tarasovik's team was our team 3, and they started taking gunfire. And we're like, oh shit, And so after I took my guys and we went back. I can't remember how far we went. It was like a click or two, if I remember right. And Bloss's team was the first team to clear the mosque. And there was one body in there. There's only two bodies in there. Yeah, there's 2 bodies in there. A ton of different blood spots on there. There was 3 or 4 pairs of boots there.
Yeah.
Oakley boots, right?
Yeah, there was super nice Oakley boots, and there was, ton of shit in there. Ton of grenade pins,
Yeah.
So what we think happened was that lull as we were trying to gather to go back to MSD, they beat feet because those dudes are notorious for getting the fuck out of Dodge,
all the time.
And so we think 3 or 4 of them fucking made it out of there without us seeing,
Yeah.
Because there was a shit ton of blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Not to just where those 2 guys died. And so we think they beat feet out of there, shot out our other team to fucking help them break contact, But yeah, I ended up going back and looking and seeing the dude that we killed. It was he was fucking mutilated. And we actually found a 320, which is like one of our grenade launchers in there that was actually belonged to one of our KIAs from earlier in the trip.
Damn.
So we found that. We're like, oh shit, we found Solo's 320 in there. And then by this time, another platoon from our Able company from Yayakel came over to assist us and shit in their vehicles. They drove up to us, and we went back after they finished the SSC and the evidence collection there. We went to go do SSC on those bodies that they killed at the beginning. I think it was 13 dudes that they killed, the Apaches. And then while we were there, we found out that his name was Ghulam Rasul. I'll never forget this dude's name. He had a giant fucking hole in his chest from the 30 mic.
Right.
And,
Jesus.
Just a straight, just dead
but
on.
he was
Damn.
our number 1 target in the area.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So we killed a shit ton of bad dudes that day.
Yeah.
So I always chalked it off to a win for us, big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it fucking sucked. It ended up obviously Castro ended up getting killed. We took 11 casualties, if I remember right.
I'm gonna say it was 9.
9 casualties that night. Yeah, Castro's memorial ended up being on my birthday, actually, which was shitty.
Fuck.
So yeah, it was a fucking gnarly night, but I learned a lot from that night about my guys and how fucking deadly hand grenades are.
Yeah.
But then from there, we had 4 or 5 more months left on the trip, I think. And we went to Yayakel a few more times after that. And nothing got kinetic after that, but it was a pretty fucking gnarly fight. That there's a lot that I think there's a lot that I wish I would have done different. But it was just it was a gnarly ass night.
Yeah. I mean, just I don't know. I don't really have the words. I feel like I'm there a little bit just by the way you're both describing it, and thank y'all for sharing that. It's fucking I don't know. And rest in peace to John Castro and your doc as well.
Yeah.
Fucking it's nightmare shit. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's y'all are some brave motherfuckers. That's crazy. That's crazy to have all that happen. Like to just become like QRF to an incident when you're doing a package, like a click away. That's literally like that's the stuff. That's the stuff you can't anticipate. You know,
and when you stop and think about it, you really realize how amazing the human body is, man.
Yeah,
like to be that exhausted, to be that exerted, your adrenaline pumping, probably the highest it's ever been. You know what I'm saying? Like your heart rate's at an all-time high. And like you said, pulling Castro, I remember that backpack you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like he was
Yeah,
not
that dude-
light.
yeah,
He was not light.
Yeah, it was a heavy ass bag, and yeah, it was just. And I respect those dudes that we fought. They fought their asses off, dude. Hats off to them. You know, they fought to the fucking death.
Yeah, till you put them down.
Yeah,
it really did. And I think what made it even more gratifying is those two dudes were responsible for the casualties we had taken.
Yeah. So
Those 6 casualties we had taken earlier. That
they were the
deployment.
snipers. Yeah, so we found the dragon off in there. You know?
Fuck yeah.
So you saw it, like, went through his camera. We saw his family. I'm like, saw his kids. I remember I saw his kids on the pictures. You know, the camera. I was like, you motherfucker. You know.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like when you see that, because there's a certain human side to it as well. You know, it's like, fuck, they're doing exactly what I was doing. You know, it's like
just in a different outfit,
just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, we came across a few houses once or twice with like family photos, and you're like, I would always turn them around. I mean, like, if they were there, just like where I'd put them down.
Yeah,
you know, and then I'd usually put the Qurans away and stuff, like, or just leave them where they're at.
Yeah,
you know, because you're like, I can't connect that much right now. I got a job to do. My job is to keep these boys alive, you know, and you know, these people, most of them ended up coming back to the compounds anyways, most normal people.
Yeah.
But you're not looking for them, you're looking for, you know, bad guys a few times. But damn, dude. And I'm trying to think of how best to express how I feel about this. I mean, I really just can't thank you enough, y'all, for sharing.
It was cool, and I learned a lot from it.
You wrote a memoir about it, right?
I did. So yeah, I did write a memoir about it, and it's getting published.
When?
It's in DoD review right now. So it's going to be in a conglomerate with with a few different other stories from around, you know, it's mostly soft, but it's a lot of different stories, whether it's, you know, it's poems and stuff, but it's called, you know, We're the Call. And it's in DoD review right now, so it is getting published. I did write a memoir about this, and I wrote it back in 2000. When did I write this? 2019, I think.
Yeah, 2019.
And,
smart on you to go through DoD review and not the other way.
What he should have done is got in contact with some Navy SEAls and asked them how he get shit pushed
right?
through.
Yeah, so it's
they just rolled the dice and end up owing the government hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, so it's not just my story; it's a bunch of other stories that's getting put together, and so it's pretty cool. It's going to get my battalion at CSM back in 2020 said that I needed to get it published. And I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, he's like, I might help somebody. And
it does.
I wrote it back in 2019 on the anniversary on April 22nd.
And that's your birthday?
26 was my birthday. But
okay.
I wrote it as mostly just to spill my guts. I didn't care if anybody read it or anything at the time. And I just wrote it, and I wrote it in like 3 hours straight. And it was like 12 or 13 pages or something.
Beautiful.
And then that alone was like the biggest healing thing for me ever. After that, like I felt like I finally let it go. You know, it was cool that I wrote it out. I wrote out how I felt about it. I wrote what I fucked up about it, you know, everything, you know.
Because you've been carrying it.
Yeah. And then I started sending it to the dudes in platoon, and I was just like, hey, do you see anything wrong with this? Did I lie about anything? You know, so I sent it out to everybody I knew that were there, and essentially fact checking myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were just like, yo, this is really good. You know, so it's
fuck yeah, man.
Hopefully it helps somebody, you know.
I've done a little bit of writing, different publications, and I found the same thing, that like writing chains you to the emotional honesty of an event.
Yeah.
And you can't get away from it, and you have to process it, and it fucking sucks. And so it's really good on you for doing that and encouraging others to do it as well, because like
super good.
Otherwise you're just fucking carrying that weight. You got to understand it, or else it'll fucking pull you to the ground.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.